Hello people, this is Conspiracy Todd. Today's video we'll be talking about Apollo 12 and Surveyor 3. Everything that I'm going to show you is directly from NASA. To start typing in Apollo 12 image library. And one of the first results here is Apollo 12 image library. Welcome to NASA headquarters. This is a NASA website. Click on it. And we're going to go down here about 3/4 of the way. Go down here to 7134. 7134, because this gives a overall, so I could tell you the story of Apollo 12. So, Apollo 11 was supposedly the first time they landed on the moon in July of 1969. Well, 5 or 6 months later, November of 1969, Apollo 12 landed, and they were going to show they could land right next to something on the moon. And what they landed next to was this thing called the Surveyor 3. It was an unmanned spacecraft that landed on the moon in April of 1967. And its purpose was to make sure the surface of the moon was strong enough to support a lunar lander. And I think the Surveyor 3 was real, but I don't believe the Apollo 12 happened. And I'm going to show you why. So, but this is supposedly November of 1969, landed on the moon. Went over here and took a bunch of pictures of this Surveyor 3 spaceship. But let's go back to 1967, April of 1967, because this Surveyor 3 had a camera. That's the camera right there. And it took over 6,000 pictures. And one of these things right here was a solar panel. The other one was a transmitter, and it transmitted these 6,000 pictures back to Earth. And NASA was nice enough to put these pictures right here in this image gallery. If you come up here to 7110, there's a PDF file right here. We're going to click on that. And it's going to take a few seconds to load. But this is the Surveyor 3 Mission Report Part 3 TV data. So there's at least 3 parts. But anyway, this has a lot of pictures. This was put out on November 10th of 1967, but the pictures were relayed back to Earth in April of 1967. And so this happened 2.5 years before the Apollo 12. And they've got all these pictures. Well, there's a bunch of data here. But we're going to go down here. We're going to type in the pictures we want to look at. So page 33. This is a replica of the Surveyor 3. And then this is another replica of the Surveyor 3 on the California coast. This is not the moon. This is a replica of it on the coast. But this is footpad number 1. And then you got footpad number 2 over here and footpad number 3. This is a tripod design. Camera's over here and is looking down and looking at this footpad on the other side over here. Let's go back to that. 64. I want you to notice this top pole appears to be silver, and these bottom poles and this thing all appears to be painted white. Silver or unpainted aluminum. And the next one is 65. We'll just scroll down here. Again, this top pole is silver or unpainted. The bottom pole or these bottom 2 are painted white. And the next one is 77. Right here, a little further back view. This top pole, again, unpainted. The bottom 2 are white. Again, unpainted, white. This thing's white. I don't know what this is painted. Right next to the digger, 189, same thing. And if you look at this picture real closely, it even looks like this top pole is silver and the bottom 2 are white in this replica that's on the California beach. Now, let's compare that with the pictures from Apollo 12. 7110. Yes, what's going on here? Why are all this top pole that was unpainted in all the pictures from 1967, April of 1967, is now painted white like these bottom 2. So that's 7110. We got 7111 here. Same thing, it's white. So what happened? But let's compare those side by side. So we've got, this is picture number 187, and it's got the digger right to the left of footpad number 2. Same thing over here. This is picture 7110 from Apollo 12, magazine 48, and it's got the digger thing is right to the immediate left of footpad number 2. Same thing over here. So we're talking about the same footpad number 2. And side-by-side comparison. Unpainted, and you saw all those other pictures where it was unpainted, and the top pole is painted white. Apollo 12 pictures. These are the Apollo 12 pictures from November of '69. These are the Surveyor 3 pictures from April of 1967. These are the original ones that were sent back by the unmanned Surveyor 3, and these are the astronauts taking these pictures over here on the right. They don't match up. Something is fishy. But wait, there's more. There's also, let's go up here to page 34 here. Yeah, you can see that that pole's silver, but also these two things right here. These were called compartment A and compartment B, and inside those compartments there was a lot of electronics that had to stay within a certain temperature range. And so the way they figured out to do this was to, and this was Hughes Aircraft Company that built these Surveyor 3s, well, Surveyor 1 through 7 actually. The top of this thing is covered in a mirrored, these are mirrors. They're called mirrored thermal switches. And what they do, they have a switch inside there which allows heat to go through at certain temperatures, and it reflects the heat from the sun when it gets above a certain temperature. And so you can actually see that that's a mirror right there. That right there is actually this right here. That little dark thing is the underside of this thing, and you're seeing the reflection of that pole in this mirror. And then the rest of this, you're probably seeing the sky up above. And if this was a color picture, you'd probably see blue sky in here. So this is like a mirrored surface. And then let's compare that in the Surveyor 3 pictures. Let's see, we want to go to page 198. So that right there is reflecting the darkness of space up above. These are mirrors. The next one's going to be 203. Same thing. This is actually a white piece of metal on the side here, and then you got these mirrored surfaces. The sun is shining on this, or it should be, and it's reflecting the darkness of space up above. It's a mirror. Let's go back to 198. And let's compare that to the pictures that the astronauts took. We've got 7117, which is a good one. Does that look like a mirror, or does that look like white aluminum panels? See, that white thing over there is this thing right here. These are supposed to be mirrors right here. I mean, you can see a little bit reflective, but it's not reflective like a mirror, and that looks to me like white aluminum panels that are painted white, and then somebody drew some lines on them, some little round thingies, because these actually are holes. Each one of these pieces of glass here is separate, and there's like a bolt that goes down into this thermal switch underneath there and holds this whole thing together. This little whole thing right here come out as one switch. I can show you a picture of that maybe in another video, but there's like, in this compartment A, there's like 9 of these. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just like there's like 9 of these little panels over here. But this is not glass, if you ask me. And why is this plastic sticking out of that? This is not glass. To me, this is metal panels. Looks about like the surface of that thing. White aluminum or some sort of metal. This whole thing is supposed to be made out of aluminum for weight. The next one we want to look at is 7137, because they actually bent the corner of one of these up. And again, is this glass? Do you think this is glass? I don't think this is glass. I think it's aluminum metal panels that aren't even very flat. And it's overlapping here, but this looks like it's underneath this part. It's got some sort of a thick layer of shiny stuff on it, but it's definitely not reflecting the darkness of space up above like it did 2.5 years earlier. And it's not a very good job that they did when they did whatever they did. I think they got a hold of a cheap replica of this thing and tried to pass it off as the Surveyor 3. Somebody fell down on the job at NASA, in my opinion. What's y'all's opinion? What do y'all think? There's two different things here. There's the silver pole, or the unpainted pole in the original pictures, and then it's painted white 2.5 years later, and then there's these glass, the tops of these compartments is glass. So anyway, what do y'all think about that evidence I showed you? I think it's pretty conclusive that the Apollo 12 pictures are fake. When you have to assume that the Surveyor 3 pictures are real, because that was an unmanned mission to the moon. And if the Surveyor 3 pictures aren't real, then how are the Apollo 12 pictures real? So you have to assume that the Surveyor 3 pictures are real. And if that's true, then why do the Apollo 12 pictures not match what we know is true? I think this is definitely conclusive proof that the Apollo 12 pictures are fake. If you have any other ideas, please comment below. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends that we didn't land on the moon, or just get a conversation going about it. I think it's pretty interesting stuff. And again, all my content is original stuff. I don't think you'll find any of this anywhere else. You know, the flag waving on the moon, that's been done to death. So anyway, this is Conspiracy Todd signing off.